My daughter had a blister yesterday and it popped, and she was not enjoying the process in the slightest. And I get it, because if you haven't had a blister before, it's quite a horrendous experience that first time with anything, you know. You realise that moment. I mean, I guess maybe the way we were brought up, it was like, yeah, you got a blister, big deal, there's people dying in the world. I mean, that was very much the thing. I tried to parent with more empathy in that moment. And anyway, we were talking about it. We were talking about how skin heals and what happens. And she said, you know, have you ever had that? And I was like, of course I have. And because we were getting ready for bed, I thought, hang on a minute, I haven't got this out for a while. Let me do this. And I showed her my C-section scar, which nearly 7 years later is much fainter than it was. And I was explaining that it first was created in 2015 when I had my son, and then it healed. And I had this lovely midwife who came round, Beverly, and she went, can I have a look at your scar? And I said, yeah, of course you can. And she's like, oh, it's lovely. I was like, you're a scar perv, Beverly. Anyway, so, you know, it healed, and then it was reopened when I had my daughter in 2019, and then healed again. And I then, without, you know, age appropriate, of course, was talking about C-sections and what that was all like. And I was like, just as I was saying it, thinking, that was wild. I mean, I didn't even read the chapter when it was an emergency with my son. So I didn't even read the chapter the first time I went in the book, and maybe I should have done. But I was like, I couldn't really walk. And like, even getting out of bed was enormous, and all of these things. And this really weird medical analogy is to remind you to tell the in-between bits in your story. And I think the temptation is to like skip to the good bit. Like the fast forward, like what happens? What happens in the end? Is it all right? Yes, it's all right. And maybe that's in your speaking gig, if you're thinking about it in this way. You can put in an aside of like, don't worry, nobody died, it was all fine in the end. And then go back and then take your audience on that moment where you're rebuilding with them. Because that's when you're going to have transformation. When my daughter was understanding what that process was, she was like, and then what did you do? And then what happened? Then she was like, whoa, bodies are really strong, aren't they? I was like, I mean, yeah, they are. They are. It's quite incredible, really. Take people on that journey and give them the details they want.